We've got the latest on the Alabama football quarterback battle as part of today's show, and we will keep you guys covered on that battle all throughout fall camp and into the regular season. So make sure you guys are subscribed, youtube.com/RollTideTV. Don't miss out on our videos. Hit that sub button right now. We are going to have another quarterback battle conversation as we're kind of starting to jump the shark a little bit, I think, in this whole who's going to be the starter. I think we're starting to reach and stretch and try to find the answers to, frankly, something we just aren't going to know for a few more weeks, or maybe it's a week from that perspective. Nick Saban has kind of begun to troll the media, I think, a little bit, or at least give some deceptive comments as well. Has mainly been a three-player conversation. Jalen Milroe, Ty Simpson, and Tyler Buchner have been the quarterbacks as part of this conversation. Saban gets asked about it every day. Every day that there is a new press conference, it's how's the quarterback? So what about Milroe? What about Simpson? What about Buchner? What about Dylan Lonergan now? Every time. And that's to be expected. And Nick Saban has, I think, reached the point of he ain't going to answer anything at all. Here's what Saban said at the second scrimmage for the Crimson Tide on the quarterbacks. They all got to play. They all took snaps. They all completed some passes. They all made some throws that weren't as good as they should have been. And they all got sacked. That's what I saw. Thanks for the insight there, Nick. A clear example of not offering anything of substance because he just doesn't want to know. Very reminiscent of the quit asking line. He's not going to tell us. I wouldn't expect him to tell us. I'm not even sure if we'll truly know who the starter is after week 1. You might see all three quarterbacks or a variety of quarterbacks play in that game. This is a very, desire to be known conversation and talking point and answer. We just are going to have to wait and see what happens. Hell, the guy that starts week 2 might not be the guy who starts week 12 even. So rate your confidence in the quarterback room. A lot more to come on this, plus some kind of wild new developments to a certain extent. Rate your confidence for me in the quarterback room. 1 to 10 is your scale. 1 the low end, 10 the high end. It is today's pinned comment. So if an ad plays here on YouTube, that's fine. Ignore the ad because nobody cares. Go vote at the pinned comment instead right now. We have seen multiple different quotes and claims and arguments from a variety of people. The first one up here is Corey Miller, the former NFL linebacker, and Christian Miller's dad, by the way. So I would say he does know ball. He said Milroe was solid. He has been my number one from day one. Nothing has changed that, in my opinion. Before I saw him practice, nothing changed what I thought. I think Alabama fans should relax with the quarterback situation. They're not going to have a quarterback problem. You are making this problem in your head. Meanwhile, Tony Sakalis of the Rivals Bama page tweeted out this. While Jalen Milroe performed the best during Saturday's scrimmage, there is still confidence in all three of Alabama's QBs. They are all capable, one source said. I think you and I could be the effing quarterback and win the damn national championship. It's a bit of hyperbole there, but I do agree. We have seen before Alabama's supporting cast be so damned good that they win the national championship regardless of who the quarterback is. We saw something similar to a certain extent with Stetson Bennett at Georgia the past couple years. He did make some plays, to be clear, but Bennett was never viewed as like a top 5 quarterback option. Like, he was never viewed as that caliber of player. In the same way, Greg McElroy wasn't viewed as that guy. A.J. McCarron, I think, is actually a good comp for Stetson Bennett. Won 2 titles because he just didn't make mistakes. Jacob Coker won a title. Mac Jones is the best of that group and was a first-round pick, but compared to guys like Tua and Bryce Young and even a Jalen Hurts, it's not the same caliber of player relative to what they've become in the NFL and their overall talent level. So because of that, I get what the argument is of just find the guy who's not going to make mistakes. So Milroe seems like he had a good scrimmage. Seemed like Buchner showed some nice thing as well. That's Tyler Buchner, the Notre Dame transfer who did lead a touchdown drive in the second scrimmage. He's still going to take some time to adjust. He is playing catch-up to a certain extent behind everybody else since, he wasn't the one out there in spring camp. He was still at Notre Dame. The offense is not a one-to-one Tommy Rees offense. Notre Dame, there are elements, of course, but it's still some adjustment that's going to need to be required from that perspective. Here's more from our friend Tony. He wrote, Ty Simpson shined in Alabama's second preseason scrimmage. I thought Ty looked the best today, one source said. He really moved the ball downfield, and the ball was popping out of his hand. So I will make note that is two different people who have said two different things on which quarterback looked best. Is it Ty Simpson? Maybe. I wouldn't be overly shocked if Simpson gets a chance there. There had been some buzz around him last year, but as we'll get into more in depth, I do think we need to be a little bit cautious about falling for a classic trap. Namely, that the next quarterback is going to be the guy. And I'm a little bit worried we're falling into that here. I'll explain what I mean by that. But first, today's show is made possible by BetUS. Head over to chatsports.com/TideBet and use promo code TIDE125 for a 125% deposit bonus when you put down at least $100. That's chatsports.com/TideBet. Promo code TIDE125. You can bet on the SEC Championship. Georgia, no surprise there, is your betting favorite, but maybe you take $10 of your deposit bonus, right? Put it on Alabama. If they win, hey, you're up $30 then on top of your $10 bet. And then if you don't win, you're more disappointed, of course. But hey, yeah, you still have plenty of leftover money there. LSU's plus 450. If you want to waste money, throw it on Texas A&M. That's fine at plus 1,400. But you should be betting smartly with BetUS. Chatsports.com/TideBet. Promo code TIDE125. Now we have this angle of it all from Shannon Terry of On3. He says, look at the Alabama quarterback situation is interesting. The best arm talent is Dylan Lonergan by a mile. Best running threat, Jalen Milroe. Best intangibles, leaders, locker room, efficient, making mistakes, no clue. Highest NFL ceiling, Dylan Lonergan, which is really interesting because that kind of came out of nowhere to a certain extent. We'll go more in depth on this. And I would caution everyone to not just go, well, it's the next freshman. He's the star. And then you kind of fall into the trap of the next freshman's the star, and the next freshman's the star, and the next freshman is the star, and we never really get to be in the present, you know? So do you think he could start this year? Dylan Lonergan. Y for yes, N for no. Sound off with your honest thoughts for me in the comment section. Now, Dylan was a 4-star recruit in this year's cycle. I think he is the best of your freshman incoming class here. 159 overall. He's the number 13 quarterback and the number 13 player out of the state of Georgia, given that recruiting profile. And although I think we're falling into he could be anything, it could be a boat argument, I'm not sure I'm going to anoint him as the highest NFL ceiling on this roster just because he's the newest highly recruited true freshman. Now, he was pretty good in the A-Day spring game. Now, he was working against and with some more of the backups, so do asterisk that to a certain extent. But he was 8 of 14, 79 yards, 1 touchdown. He's the true freshman who I do still think is behind the other 3 guys here. But this is what Nick Saban had to say. He's done really well. He shows great ability, great potential. I think the thing that he needs is experience. Through experience. You have experiences, you make mistakes, you mess up, you say, well, I'm not going to do that again. That's how you learn and progress. He's a talented guy and certainly a guy you want to try to develop. He's done a nice job so far in camp. That quote, the tweet, it kind of stirred the pot a little bit more. There were suddenly an influx of dozens of pro Dylan Lonergan tweets, which I think, again, is maybe just trying to get on board and get the hype going. Who knows there? I'm not saying he couldn't be decent if he had to play. I'm not saying he's going to be not a good quarterback for Alabama down the road. But I don't think 2023 is his year. You know, that quote from Saban about needing experience, needing time, wanting to develop, that reads to me as, yeah, he ain't there yet, but we're hoping he can be in a year or 2 or 3 years even. Not every true freshman quarterback ends up being the guy, you know? So I would be a bit more patient in terms of the quarterback room, and I would assume it's one of your top 3 options. But we'll find out soon in, a week and a half-ish, or maybe you just call it 2 weeks and round up there. Maybe we go 3 since it might not be known by week 1. We'll know in a month. Let's just take the safe answer there after the Texas game. Either way, we will have coverage for you all season long. If you haven't already, hit that sub button right now, youtube.com/@RollTideTV.